Welcome to Avocado Talks.
Hello, 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 you from the other side. How you doing? This is your host, Luigi Caldeira. Welcome to Avocado Talks. Very excited once again to be here with you and today to introduce you to a beauty that's right next to me. It's bad that you guys are not going to be able to see her in video, but I can assure you that this is a goddess. And her name is Camilla Domingues. Welcome.
Wow. Hi, Horseo.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm nervous, actually. This is my first podcast participation in a very serious and structured interview slash conversation with
She's,
my bestie.
oh, there you go. So
Yeah.
you should be feeling right at home.
I'll get there. Give me more wine. I'll get
Okay, well, yes, you just told everybody we're drinking wine, but it's not true,
there. No, it's
guys.
no alcohol. It's all good.
Yes. So, how you doing? And what made you decide to do this podcast today?
Because I love you and I'm doing this out of pure love. You know, that's not my thing, being here talking to millions and millions of people, but I'm willing to do it for a good cause. And I like the subject and I love you and I think it's worth it.
I love you too, and I'll make it public.
Oh my goodness.
You're the only woman in the world that I love besides my mom. Okay?
Okay.
Feel
I knew
special?
that already.
You feel the love? It's amazing. So, Camilla just told you guys what we call each other, and I think we should feel comfortable to use
A
this,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care that I'm on
Yeah.
the air right now. I'm
Yeah.
gonna call you the Horsinho of
Horsinho.
my life,
It started with horse, right? So it was like, yeah, of course, my horse.
right?
And then we both became horses, and it was a nice experience. And then now we're horsinhos,
Exactly, because
like the baby
it,
horses.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
How do you
amazing.
feel about being a baby horse?
Listen, I love Listen, I mean, it's great. It's funny, right? When how you come up with like these nicknames
I
out of
give
the blue.
nicknames to everyone special in my life.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sorry, those of you who are listening that know me, you don't have a nickname. I'll come up with one very soon. But yes, I do give nicknames to my dear ones.
Me too. I have that habit, so we have that in common.
I just can't. I just can't call you by like Luigi. It doesn't come out naturally. You know, I need a cute nickname that goes with your personality. Horse.
Oh my God. Gosh, I don't even want to dare to ask you why you call me horse then, because if it has to do with my personality, no
Because you're
clue.
beautiful and free and strong, and
Aw,
I
thank
love
you.
horses.
I love horses too, and I love you. So,
And you like my hair, right?
of course,
That's why. Okay.
yes, yes, yes. Anyway, so today we're talking about horses. No, I'm kidding. We're not talking about horses. We're actually talking about energy. And this is a very interesting subject. I must say that it's not something that I talk about all the time, but I'm excited that we have chosen to be talking about this. And most importantly, we're also going to be educating people about how to protect your energy. So make sure that you stay tuned and listen to this conversation we're about to have. So, Horse, tell me, what is energy?
I don't know what's energy. Like, I don't have an answer, specific answer. I think each person has a different understanding of energy. For me, energy is everything that it is, right? We're all made of energy, material things, spiritual things, the planet, everything around is energy. We move by energy, right? On practical things in life and spiritual things, and people see energy different ways, right? Some people don't see it. They'll get to understand energy when it's time. But I think it's important to understand to make the best of your life when you understand that.
It's interesting because, if I was a few moments before we decided to, record this podcast on energy. I was actually giving myself some time to think about what energy is. And I came into this kind of battle in my mind between energy and soul. And somehow I was connecting the two. What do you think about that? Do you
I
think it's the same?
energy and soul. I think everything is connected, right? So if you believe in your, what's your definition of soul? What do you think is your soul? What does that represent for you?
I think my soul is like my spirit, you know? So it's
Right.
like
Right.
my aura. Like, I don't know. I kind of, if I were to draw something for you, which I can't because I'm horrible at drawing, but if I were to draw something to you, I would like draw like my body, like, which would be like just little circles and like, because I can't draw.
Right. So something different than your physical body, right?
Yes.
Something that makes you unique yourself, not just your brain, which makes it functional, but like your uniqueness, right? Comes from your soul, right? And that aura that you describe, that's how you see energy, right? Like you have this uniqueness about your aura, about your spirit, about your soul that connects to your body, connects to your brain, and makes yourself you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
lot to digest, but yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty
I
much, I
know,
guess,
because
what it is.
it's a very deep subject, right? Because we are entitled to have different opinions and different understandings of energy and soul and the connection of your soul with your physical body. It depends how you see religion, what are your beliefs, and what you understand to be soul, right? And to be energy. And so it's hard to talk about energy with everyone because every single person has a different view of energy.
Okay, so I'm here sitting here, and I guess the only closest closest thing that I can make a comparison to, which would be electric energy, right? Which is something that we don't necessarily see.
Right.
It's like
100%.
it's like
Yes.
running somewhere. I mean, you see the light is on, but you can't see energy.
Right. So it's everything for me. My personal belief is everything that moves the world, right? And people and things and what we're made of, right? We're made of all the sparkles, like we're all energy, like, and that forms our like physical body. And the same way you have electricity in your house, that's the same way I see energy within us, right? That same kind of thing that drives that moves things forward, that makes everything work. Like so very similar.
So it's very essential, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we're made of energy in my point of view, right? So that we wouldn't be able to exist as a planet without energy, and there are different types of energy, right?
So So, okay, we understand that energy is this abstract thing,
Super abstract. Yeah.
but it's also essential, and well, it's present in every person.
Yes.
So, once you understand that, I think it's important for us to know how,
What do you do with that
right.
crap?
So, what do you do with that? I mean, you just told me this wonderful thing of energy and all
And
of
so
that.
what?
Yeah, exactly. Like, so what's next? You understand what energy is. So, what do you do with it?
Oh my God, so many things. Okay, so I think first and foremost, it's important for you to understand your own energy, how it relates to you. Understand within one, like within yourself, right? Like um, your behaviors, your general energy. When you feel like your energy changes, and if you don't want to use the word energy, you can use the word like mood, for example, right? You can see it different ways, but how it affects your life, your how does it affect your life when you are having different experience like with others, right? How it affects the world, how the energy of the world affects us in general. Is a compound energy kind of thing, right? So different ways, but understanding how to make the most of your life with your energy, like working with your energy. And I think it comes like the first thing is understanding yourself, right? Recognizing your energy, the way you interact with others, recognizing energies from other sources, and that opens like 1,000 doors for you to understand many things in life, where you want to go in life, what do you want to do, what are you here for. And we could talk about like 1,000 different topics within energy, right? But I think first step, understanding your energy, coming to the realization that yeah, we're all made of energy and we have control over our energy, right? We can not always change it right away, but we can make the best of it. We can accept and own that feeling of accepting our energy, trying to change when it's necessary, redirecting. And I almost broke the glass. Yeah, so like using in your advantage, right? In your favor.
So how can I understand what my energy is? Like for example, I mean, you know me, So what's like the, you know,
I'm going to give you an example,
yeah.
okay? So let's say, you know how people like to say, oh, like, be positive. You got to be positive. Always be positive. Like,
Mm-hmm.
positive energy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's great, but that's not reality. You're not going to always have that perfect balance, like wusa energy, that sometimes that life happens and you're going to wake up not feeling as good as, right? Because we're influenced by
Right.
our surroundings and people around us and our own journey, right? So your energy, what happens with energy? It keeps changing. Like it's flowing, it's changing all the time. It's never a constant. It's never something that's going to remain the same. It's change, which is great, right? So you have to understand your own energy and try to make the best of it. If you wake up one day and you say, oh, I've been positive for, because I saw this movie or this whatever documentary that says that I gotta be positive for, to bring things into fruition. But no, like you've been feeling positive for a week. You wake up one day and you say, no, like today I feel like crap. Why is that? I'm supposed to be positive. Now everything's gonna go wrong because I'm feeling down and this and that. So when you have a day like this, what do you do? Right? Like a practical example. When you feel like your energy is unbalanced, what do you do to make it better? At least you can have a better day.
Oh, well, so if I wake up and I feel like I'm negative, and well, first of all, that doesn't happen often, but when it does, I think I just let myself be for a moment. But I try to do things that will bring me to a more positive state. So, like listening to certain kinds of music or treating myself to something that I like to eat or do or whatever, and always kind of, you know, acknowledge that it's something that I'm feeling on that moment, but like that I can get out of, that space. Like that I'm in control,
And
kind
that's
of.
beautiful
Yeah.
because that's you recognizing yourself, your energy, where you are in life, and trying to make things better for yourself and for others that are going to be around you, right? Like, so when my energy is down or I get affected by other people's energy, I'm a sponge, right? And like
Mm-hmm.
lately, I've been trying to deal with that because I deal with a lot of people on a day to day basis. So for me, it's important to try to have my own boundaries, to disconnect when I feel like the energy is heavy. I just feel like disconnecting. I need a day. It's sometimes spending a day by myself, alone,
Right.
reading a book, like playing music that I like, singing, whatever,
So are those ways to protect your energy, the things that you just said, or are they ways just to kind of go back into the positive mode?
No, I think those, the ones that I would just mention, are ways of changing the energy,
Okay.
like having control of your own energy, right? Which is different than protecting your energy from certain things or people that don't make you feel good about your own energy or affect your energy somehow, right?
I think that will be good for us to talk about because I feel sometimes that I have certain people in my life that they just drain my energy. They drink, like, those people that you like,
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you about that, and that's a perfect example. It's like
mm-hmm.
you don't know why, you don't understand how, and then after a pattern, and then you see that happening over and over again with the same person or group of
Yes,
people, you're like, oh, this is draining. Why do I feel like this around these people or
right.
this specific person or this type of environment, right? And then is you trying to understand first why you feel that way, what kind of feelings that brings you, right? So have you had that experience with you don't need to mention a name.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was about to say that it was. No, I'm not gonna say your name. But you're listening
But
to this, right? You're
you right there.
listening to this. No, but actually, yes, I have had people that like drain my energy, but I have known people that attract this kind of people. Like they're always complaining to me that other people are draining their energy. You know?
Okay, so that's I think two different things. Like one is if you recognize or you know someone that's that way, no matter what they do, how positive they are, they attract the same kind of people over and over again, or sometimes all kinds of people, right? If you're an empath and if you have that light and people come to you for a certain reason or for some help, you're gonna get that your whole life because that's just part of your life. It's part of your mission, whatever your mission is. But you
Okay.
attract all that people, right? And you can explain in energy and in psychology different ways, right?
Right.
I used to see it as a bad thing because I would attract all sorts of people, all kinds of people, like usually looking for help or needed me for some reason. And it was overwhelming at some point. But if that's your case, then, which I think is your case, you gotta go deeper and understand why, right? Like maybe it's part of your mission here. Maybe you're meant to help people in a certain way, and they're not gonna stop coming to you. And if you see that as something negative instead of doing something good about it, it's not gonna serve your purpose here either, right? So the way I see it, the moment I start accepting that, yes, I do attract all sorts of people and for different reasons, and it gets overwhelming sometimes. It is part of who I am, it's part of my mission, and I just gotta understand my own boundaries. So it's okay to say no. It's okay to feel tired and not be able to help. You don't need to help all and everything and everyone at the same time and move mountains because you're just one. And you
Right.
also have your own energy that get affected by others. And that's one form of like someone draining or a group of people draining your energy, right? And
So this whole thing with saying no, I think there's definitely a whole other, subject that we want to be talking about there, because there's
oh yes,
definitely a stigma in our culture of saying no. I think I don't know, maybe it's a Brazilian thing or maybe a Hispanic thing or Latino, but we are raised to always accept things,
to please others.
please others, and it's such a challenge for us to say no, especially when it comes to, let's say, family members, for example.
Right, right.
I mean, we have a
Yeah.
whole thing there to talk
That
about.
topic gets interesting. Yep.
So, I have that issue sometimes. I mean, sometimes,
Yeah, but
I
you can pour from an empty cup, and that's the key.
mhm,
If it doesn't matter if you're drained, you're drained. You're not gonna be able to be of any help to anybody if you get to the point. So it's like a exercise of like balancing your energy, balancing yourself, so you are able to help, and at the right time, at the right moment when it's good for you and others. But it's not a one-way thing, right? Even
right.
when you're helping, it's a two-way. They gotta understand too where you're coming from.
Right, it should be,
You're not
but
here to
you
save
know,
the
right.
world,
You
right?
you know how it is with family. I mean, it's sometimes difficult for people to understand that, and I think once you start, understanding yourself, understanding your energy, and all of that, and you start standing up for yourself, then people don't take that very well, and you end up having to deal with some other types of negativity. I mean, do you have anything that you have lived in the past that you had to say, like, no, this is enough, you know?
Yeah, my whole
Okay.
life. So that, and that's one of the reasons why now I understand energy. You know why it's so important for me to be balanced, to know my boundaries, say no, because it's very easy when you have someone in your life that you recognize that it's someone from work or someone is the friend that you have the option to, you know, if it's negative and it's constantly negative, to the extent possible limit the interactions with this person. But it's difficult when it's a family member, like what you just mentioned,
Yeah.
because you can't get that person is part of your family, is part of your life, it's always going to be there, right? So how do I deal with this? So I've had that before, and it took me many years to understand. But in that case, boundaries and understanding, you know, what do I need, what they need from me, what I need from them in exchange is an exchange, not just a one way thing. And keeping your boundaries so that you continue having a peaceful relationship with that person, communicating, like use your throat chakra, like express yourself, use your voice, say no when it's not okay, and explain why with love, right? With respect. You say, right now I understand where you're coming from. I know you
Mm-hmm.
need me, but tonight, and for whatever reason, tonight I'm not available for this family dinner, because you don't need to explain yourself or
Right.
create excuses. Just be honest with yourself and with them and say, and that's the beauty, to be able to be honest and feel okay with that and not feel guilty, not feel like,
Right.
oh, I'm giving less than I'm supposed to. No, just say, no, today I just feel like being by myself, being at home, like
Right.
reading a book. I need to recoup, whatever it is. Yeah.
You need your personal space. And you know, I think I mentioned to you a couple of months ago, I had this episode of like having a panic attack, and I was really being overwhelmed by the amount of things that my family was demanding from me at the time. And that's exactly what I did. I stood up for myself and I contacted everybody, and I was like, listen, you guys need to leave me alone. Like, I need some time for myself. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to, help you with all the things you guys need me to help you with. But it was so important for me to acknowledge that this was happening
Yeah, because
and
you
actually,
also part of that family. You
right,
also gotta be seen as someone that's not just saving everyone, but
right.
someone that has feelings and
Yeah,
needs. And so they have needs, you have needs too, and it's okay to help each other. But they gotta see you as a person, not just as the savior. You know.
absolutely. The other thing also I was thinking about is, I don't know if are for everybody that's out there listening, is there anything that we can do to protect our energy? Not like maybe like taking a bath. Like, are there any things like that that could help us kind of like recenter our thoughts? And are you aware of anything like that? Any practices?
Recenter is awesome. I like that. Recenter. Yeah. So balancing, recentering your energy, the different things. Like you gotta know what works for you. You know, for me, like as far as more specific stuff, you know, I like what I don't know how do you call that in English, like Palo Santo, like the thing that you burn to
Okay, so it's like you burn like it's not
a
a
little
candle.
scent, or
It's a
yeah.
yeah,
So that helps me. I do it every morning. It's kind of like a ritual, and maybe it's psychological, maybe it's a mental thing, because I do it every morning. I
right.
feel like I'm cleaning the energy. You know, I'm starting fresh that day, and that nothing is gonna affect my energy. That's bullshit. It's gonna affect we always affect each other's energy, but at least for me mentally, it puts me on a place that I feel like it's protection, right? So there
Mm-hmm.
might be something behind it, that the scent, the smell makes me feel that way. It makes
Right.
everything peaceful, or maybe it's just something that you believe in, because you believe it, it helps you, right? Music, meditation is great. If you don't know how to do meditation, just try like plugging any channel like that plays meditation music and just listen to it. You don't need to sit down and try to meditate for 10 minutes. Very difficult. So just start by listening to it and trying to disconnect a little bit from like the busyness of the world, you know, the fast pace.
Yes, yes. And we live in a very fast-paced world, and there's this, pressure on all of us to be always
Yeah.
producing and doing things and all of that. So yeah, I appreciate all of that. And everything that you had to offer on the subject. Um, so we discussed understanding energy. We discussed how to use your energy, how to protect it. We also need to kind of go over the alignment of your energy, right? Energy and purpose. I think you discussed that too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's another like long subject, but like in short, I think when you're aligned with yourself, what you here to do, when you're allowing yourself to be yourself 100%, um, you're 100% aligned with your beliefs, without fear of judgment from others. That's when you allow yourself to be your beautiful self, right? To the world, right? And that's how energy usually stays more balanced and flows more easily. Understanding yourself, accepting yourself, and being the best out there.
And what's collective energy? What is that?
The collective energy, the idea that we're all connected,
Okay.
right? So if you believe in energy and if you believe that energy flows and it's constantly changing and that we're all connected, and you just think about examples like you and I, like we're not gonna share our stories here.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
another time.
Maybe another time, Porcinho.
But we know how everything is connected,
Right.
right? One thing leads to the other, and then at the moment you don't understand why it's happening that way. When you look back, you say, "Oh, now I see it. Now I
Right.
understand why it had to happen that way." So that's the collective energy, the idea that everything is connected, all energies are connected, and there's an energy that affects the planet, that affects the world, depending on which period of time we're living, what's happening to the world. Right now, we have a war going on, right? We have a lot of changes. We just had COVID. It's a lot of changes. So now you see a lot of people in general having mood shifts and mood swings. And sometimes you don't understand why. Oh, I woke up today and I was feeling so good and I've been around like people with good energy. Why do I feel this way? Sometimes it's collective energy, everything that's happening to the world, like people around you, not physically, but just all the thoughts and energies that are going out there, right? So that affect us in a good way and in a bad way. So like when you make a prayer,
Uh huh.
that's a beautiful way. If you believe in prayers because of religion, that's even greater, right? That's even better. But a prayer, just the thought of sending good thoughts and praying for someone, that emanates a beautiful energy out of you that goes out there to people, right? And you can reach people with that energy. And that's a beautiful thing. That's also part of collective energy. It's amazing for the planet, for the world. And again, if you believe energy.
No, of course, yeah. I mean, and do you think energy is something that you build? Like you build your character or your personality, or are you born with your energy and that's something that you kind of like stick with through your life?
No, I believe I think you can build it. I think you can change it anytime. I think you can have ownership of your energy. And
Okay.
that's the beauty of it, that you can own your energy, right? So I don't believe someone is it's born good or bad or like, oh, that person is so negative or no, I think it's probably when you see someone who has a negative pattern, it's probably something they've been through that affected them throughout their lives. And once they recognize that and accept and decide to deal with that, they can transform and change that energy into something better, right? But I don't think you're born with a negative energy or with a positive energy. I think we're all born with good and bad in us, and the same goes to energy.
Okay.
There's no such a thing as good energy or bad energy. It's just like overall energy. You can change it, you can own it, and do whatever you want with it, and like conquer the world with your energy.
Says Dr. Horsinho.
I'll give you a prescription. I'll give you an energy prescription at the
I-
end of this interview.
Exactly. I need that. I need that for my life because as you're saying all of these things, I'm thinking, because I find myself sometimes in doubt when I'm expecting something or, whatever it is. I have this tendency of thinking that the worst is gonna come out of it because I've, had so many things happen to me in the past that I kind of prepare myself for the worst because, if the best comes out of it, then it's all good. Do you think that's something that has to do with energy, or
I think that's your practical mind, right? Like going back and looking back in your experience and trying to make sense of things and preparing yourself for the worst. I think that's normal. I've done that many, many times, and I do it sometimes, and I try to then disconnect from my very conscious, practical self and try to connect to my intuition, right? So energy is also intuition. So like listening to yourself, do something that makes you connect to yourself, to your that feeling of intuition, that just knowing what's right, what's bad. Like everyone can tell you this is not right for you, or this is a bad person for you, or I don't think this relationship is good for you. But you know best, right? So you know yourself. You know how you feel about a certain person. You know why if you're connected to yourself, and sometimes not listening to all advices you get, because if you know yourself, you probably know. It's great to listen to advice and to process and get the good things out of it. There's always good out of advice, but also like being confident on your intuition. What do you think it's right for yourself? Like I didn't understand intuition, and I didn't understand energy at all. The way that I started like trying to find out more about energy, and years ago I felt like very unbalanced
Mm-hmm.
with my energy. I'm like, what am I gonna do to deal with this? Like I can, like one day I feel great, the other day, I don't think I'm crazy. It's just something that's happening right now, and I feel like it's energy, but what to do with it? So I started doing Reiki,
Okay.
right? With this Reiki practitioner, and she started explaining to me chakras and how you should align all of your chakras to be in your best self, in your best energy, and how
Uh-huh.
that influences you depending on what happened in your life before. So that was my initiation, right? But it could be different for
For
everybody. Yeah, yeah.
right, right. So energy is connection.
Yeah, I don't think there's a definition. I just think it's
Right.
understanding that we're made of energy. That's
Right, right.
it's a
But
very
yeah,
broad.
for me, it's kind of what my takeaway from the conversation is like energy is connection. It's energy is you.
It's you.
It's
Yeah,
you.
it's us. It's all of us. It's like
Right,
one is like all of us connected, right?
right. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I always like to end the podcast with lyrics from a song. I know it's cheesy,
Ooh.
but this one is actually something I just grabbed from the internet,
And
and
I.
it's not a Whitney Houston song,
You're not
but
gonna love me forever and ever?
of course,
Okay,
Orsino. But
okay.
it's by Tom Tom Club, and it's interesting. So just listen to it, and then we can have a quick conversation about it, and then we can end this podcast for the day. But it says like this: Don't say no if you don't know. Don't say no to love. Don't say no if you don't know how to love. Don't say no to love.
That's very
And
deep.
it is, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I can't remember the song right now, but
I can't either
and
because I don't know it, but
doesn't ring the bell, but it's deep.
I thought the lyrics were very interesting because we're talking about saying no, um, but I think it's also important to understand when not to say it. Like you were saying during our conversation, sometimes it's a part of your mission, and understanding, that difference comes from, I guess, understanding yourself, accepting what your mission is, and going from there.
Yes, 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 yes.
This is great. I mean, I think all of us are excited since Professor Horse just gave us a whole speech on, you know,
Professor Horse Senior.
Professor Horsino, yeah, just telling us here, sharing with us all her knowledge on energy and how all of this is evolving and how it's important, protecting it. I cannot emphasize enough how we need to protect our energy, from everything that's going on in the world. There are a lot of crazy shit happening out there,
Oh God, yeah.
and you need to shield yourself um,
And one way
with
of
that.
doing this is doing good for others. Being of service. Not everyone's gonna be of service the same way, but like putting the energy out there, right? So you don't get karma, positive, good karma back through the same person. Not always. only with you, Jorsium. That's another story. But yeah, you're gonna get a good karma back if you do good. Like if you follow your mission and you put the good energy out there, help others. At some point in life, you're gonna receive that back, and that's for sure. That's if there's one thing I believe that's all it is.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time,
Yay!
for sharing everything that you did with us.
Sharing's caring.
We appreciate here at Avocado Talks. And for all of you out there, please share this podcast with your friends, family members, those people that they drain your energy. Send it to them as well.
Send them to me.
Yeah. Oh. Well, now
We'll do some work.
now I'm gonna tag Camilla Domingues here on this podcast so you guys can give her a lot of work. Well, thank you again, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you, Hercy. I want my avocado.
Oh, let's
Where's my
eat
avocado?
right now. Let's eat right now.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.